door. He's in the hospital with a very localized case of inspectionitis. Show me the base. Harrison growled. I want to see everything. Bludger, unable to contain his excitement, snuck out of the hospital in a borrowed seaman's uniform to witness Mav's downfall. He knew about the party in the bomb shelter. He knew about the hula girls. Admiral, Bludger shouted, running up to the group. You must see the bomb shelter. It's scandalous. There are girls, hula girls, right now. Harrison turned to Mav. Hula girls? In a military installation? The Commodore is delirious, sir, Mav said smoothly. He's been having hallucinations. He thinks there are women everywhere. He even thought there was a nurse in his closet this morning. I am not delirious, Bludger screamed. Check the shelter. They marched to the bomb shelter and threw open the heavy steel doors. Inside, they found a group of sailors, meticulously cleaning the walls with toothbrushes. There was no music, no dancers, just the smell of soap. Mav had, of course, tipped off his crew 5 minutes prior. The hula girls were currently hiding in the base laundry, disguised as piles of unwashed bedding. Binghamton, Bludger, Harrison said, his voice dropping an octave. You are wearing a seaman's uniform. You are shouting about imaginary dancers. You are clearly suffering from combat fatigue. Get back to the hospital. That is an order. As Bludger was dragged away, screaming about the injustice of it all, Mav leaned over to Pringle. Remind me to give the laundry crew a raise, Percy. Chapter 4. The Maharaja of Mangalore. A few days later, a new crisis arrived. A royal one. The Maharaja of Mangalore was visiting the sector with his 3 beautiful daughters. Due to engine trouble, which Mav, suspecting involved a bribe and a bottle of gin, their royal yacht was forced to dock at Isla de Caos. The Maharaja was a man of immense dignity and even more immense luggage. He also had a very short temper regarding the purity of his daughters. I am Karim, the Maharaja announced, stepping onto the pier. These men, are they to be trusted with my most valuable possessions? Mav bowed. Your Highness, you are under the protection of the Sapphire Navy. My crew and I are your humble servants. One of his daughters, the Princess Siri, caught Mav's eye. She was stunning, with a mischievous spark that suggested she wasn't nearly as sheltered as her father thought. Wowie, wow, Percy Pringle whispered, staring at the princesses. The Maharaja glared at him. The next man who dares to debase the dignity of the princesses will answer to me. And my sword. Mav quickly stepped in. He didn't mean any harm, Highness. In our country, that's a ceremonial greeting, like a chicken. It signifies peace. For the next 3 days, Mav had to balance his duties as acting commander with the needs of a demanding sultan. Things reached a breaking point when the Maharaja insisted on steering the serpent's tooth. It is most relaxing, the Maharaja shouted as he narrowly missed a coral reef, sending the crew tumbling across the deck. I shall include a fleet of these in my own navy. That evening, Bludger, who had miraculously recovered once the admiral left, decided to host a dinner for the royals. He was desperate to win back his prestige. I have made every arrangement for your delight, Bludger proclaimed. And now, Your Highness, a surprise. The princesses have agreed to perform a traditional dance. Mav, sitting at the end of the table, froze. He knew for a fact that the princesses were currently in the base kitchen, teaching the cook how to make authentic curry. Who was behind the veils? 3 figures entered, draped in silks and heavy veils. They began to dance. It was enthusiastic, but lacked a certain grace. One of the dancers accidentally tripped over a potted palm. Bludger, sensing something was wrong, grabbed the veil of the lead dancer. Aha! I knew it! An impostor. He pulled back the silk to reveal Percy Pringle in a wig, and enough rouge to paint a barn. Pringle! Bludger roared. What are you doing in a dress? I'm happiness, sir, Pringle squeaked. In the language of Mangalore, I'm the princess of productivity. The Maharaja stood up, his face thunderous. This is an outrage. You have mocked my family. I shall write to your Washington. I shall raid your State Department. Wait, Highness, Mav shouted, stepping forward. It was a misunderstanding. The real princesses were. They were preparing a special royal gift. They wanted it to be a surprise. The real princesses entered at that moment, carrying a tray of exquisitely prepared appetizers. The Maharaja's anger softened, but Bludger was already in a heap on the floor, weeping into his napkin. Why me? Bludger sobbed. Why is it always me? Chapter 5. Laughing gas and heavy artillery. The cycle of misery continued for Bludger. He decided that the only way to get rid of the Serpent's Tooth crew once and for all was to convene a fitness board for Sub-Lieutenant Pringle. He wanted Pringle busted down to a Seaman Second Class, which would effectively destroy Mav's command structure. However, the day of the hearing arrived with a literal headache. Mav had a wisdom tooth that was causing him agony. I'm in agony, Percy. Mav groaned as he returned from the base dentist. Mav walked into the office, giggling uncontrollably. Hi, Captain. How's the ulcer? Does it want a cracker? Sterling, are you drunk? Bludger demanded. No, I'm high on life and gas. Mav laughed. Say, that's a nice uniform. Does it come in a men's size? Bludger turned to Crow. Call the fitness board. I want them here now. I'll show them these lunatics. Mav, in his gas-induced euphoria, hatched a plan. If laughing gas made him feel this good, maybe it would help the Commodore find his inner joy. The crew managed to acquire a tank of nitrous oxide from the dental clinic and piped it into the ventilation system of Bludger's office. When the fitness board, led by Admiral Shoemaker, arrived, they expected a somber hearing. Instead, they found Commodore Bludger standing on his desk, singing a bawdy sea shanty and calling everyone Bingy Winky. Admiral Shoemaker. Bludger giggled, attempting to pinch the Admiral's cheek. You're a cute little trick, aren't you? Come on, let's go on sick call together. We can hold hands. Shoemaker stared in horror. Bludger, have you lost your mind? I love this country, Bludger shouted, throwing a lei around Shoemaker's neck. And I love Pringle. He's my Chucky Wucky. I'm promoting him to Admiral, Admiral Pringle. It has a nice ring, doesn't it? Just then, an air raid siren blared. A rogue enemy scout plane had been spotted. Pringle, still trying to prove his worth, ran out to the anti-aircraft gun. He was still wearing the princess wig from the Maharaja's dinner. He'd forgotten to take it off. I'll save you, Bingy Winky, Pringle shouted. He closed his eyes, pulled the trigger, and unleashed a barrage of lead. Miraculously, one of the shells clipped the enemy plane's wing, forcing it to ditch into the lagoon. Admiral Shoemaker was stunned. The man is a hero. He stood laughing in the face of death. He shot down an enemy bomber while wearing a pink wig. That is the kind of madness that wins wars. The fitness board was cancelled. Pringle was given a commendation, and Bludger was given a sedative and a week of bed rest. Chapter 6. The Payroll Caper in Nouvelle Cristal. The final act of our drama took place in the sophisticated port of Nouvelle Cristal, formerly New Caledonia. Mav and his crew had been sent there to pick up the base payroll, a staggering $62,000 in small, unmarked bills. Bludger had set a trap. He knew that Mav couldn't resist a bit of supplemental income. He'd marked the bills and planned to catch them red-handed. Percy Pringle was tasked with carrying the money. Don't worry, Mav, Percy said, clutching the canvas bag. I'll be as stealthy as a very stealthy thing. I so love. Naturally, within 10 minutes of landing, Pringle had been distracted by a street performer and managed to get himself knocked unconscious by a falling baguette. When he woke up, the money was gone. The money, Mav, Pringle wailed. It's gone. I saw a girl's ankle with a heart-shaped birthmark, and then darkness. A birthmark on the ankle? Mav mused. That's our only clue. Men, we have 4 hours to find that girl before Bludger arrives to take possession of the payroll. The crew of the Serpent's Tooth began a frantic search of the cafes and casinos of Nouvelle Cristal. They were checking uncles with a dedication usually reserved for torpedo